Hi, Trev here from Trevs Bees on Facebook and YouTube. Today I want to talk about this new bit of kit that we've got here. This is a Paradise honey box built by Paradise Honey in Finland, made out of EPS polystyrene. The EPS has got something to do with extreme pressure when it's manufactured. Normal polystyrene is 6 kilos per cubic metre. This stuff, when it's compressed, is 100 kilos per cubic metre, so extremely dense. First thing you notice on it, it's 40 mils thick, and it feels hard. So this here is enough for a little starter kit that I've got here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take you through this, then I'm going to show you how to fit it up, get it ready, assemble boxes. I've got 2 3/4 boxes here. This one's already got its runners put in. This is a hard plastic, so you can put the hive tool in and it won't do any damage. And I've got one more to assemble here, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But for starters, we're just going to go through all this, and as we go, I'll tell you a couple of prices as well. We have a queen excluder, nothing fancy about that, just the normal plastic queen excluder, pretty near exactly the same size as a standard queen excluder, but this is a Paradise one. We'll start from the bottom and work upwards. This is an open mesh floor. And starting right at the very bottom, it has a groove or a shape fitting in here, so we can put a Varroa inspection board in, and that will slide in here like that. I've made this out of an old sign that I've recovered, about 3 mil thick. I put a little handhold on here. I draw a grid pattern on it so I can count the Varroa a lot easier. It also has the effect of shutting the mesh floor off if you're treating with oxalic vapours. Aluminium mesh on the bottom, bees can't get through it, nor can wasps. The only addition that I've made is I've put a little screw here to hold that mesh into place. It tends to have a little bit of a curve in it, and I wanted it held down a bit further. The floor itself costs $25. It's got a little groove across the front here, and that's so that this entrance reducer can fit in here like that, and you can slide these little sliders backwards and forwards to open or close the entrance so that you can restrict it to prevent wasps getting in. Bumblebees certainly can't get in, nor can mice. We'll show you how that goes, how that's in use later. Got a 20 mil riser on here, and the box sits neatly on top of here. This is a full depth box that I have already made, assembled and painted, and that sits on there like that, and it all locks into place very tight and neatly. and you can see here there's actually a rebate recess, so that when the next box sits on, it actually sits on and locks into there. So any water coming down the hive will automatically run out. It can't go inside. Boxes come in 3/4 or full depth, and they are, a 3/4 is $23 a box. In kit set form, like this, 2 sides with some holes in it, and 2 ends with little tongues in them, so they fit into here like that. One of the things that they should have been made is so that they can only go in one way. It is possible to force these together in the wrong way. But however, and a full depth box costs $31. Now, when you compare the price of one of these boxes as opposed to buying a kit set like this, this costs around about $26. This is a full depth box against $31. I personally think that that's pretty good value for money when you consider that, when you see how I assemble it, how easy it is to assemble. So we'll get to the assembly part in a minute. Then we have these 2 runners. The profile is slightly different shape. One is for the top and one's for the bottom. And they have a matching profile so that that can sit in the appropriate place like that. So that can only go on that side, and that one can only go on that side. We'll do that in a minute. Obviously we can stack up as many boxes as we like, and then we come to the lid. This is the downside of the lid, and this is the top side. This is made with this recess in here so it can be used in hot areas like Australia particularly, to provide extra ventilation out the top. So you can put a mesh on the top and allow more ventilation to get out the top. I don't bother with it here in New Zealand. We're cool enough that it doesn't cause a problem. And it's got this little recess in here where you can put pollen patties will actually sit over the top. That also will fit neatly down over the top of here in such a manner, and it's got the recesses to fit neatly over the top of the boxes. So let's assemble the box. There's a bit of glue and something to bang things with. So this one fits on this side. So this is the tricky one to put on. See how hard it is? Real tricky. That one looks as though it's been cut too long. And this one does take a bit more to force on. Like that. So that's it. That's assembled. Okay, so we've got the runners on, protectors. We're now ready to assemble our box. It's got a shape on here which corresponds to the shape on here, so that's got to fit in there, like that. This one goes at the other end. the real hard part of this, get a bit of glue, bit of PVA, doesn't need to be waterproof. And I put a little bead of glue on there, a little bit on there. That's it, not very much, you don't need much. That goes on there, just make sure the handles are up the right way. Flip that round there. So that goes that way. That goes on there. Oops, and I've got one upside down. As I said, I don't know why they haven't made these so they only go in one direction. So, just, can you still see me? Put it on the ground, push it down, and then I sit on it. Give it a couple of bounces, turn it around, couple of bounces. That's it, one box made. Just a bit of cloth. Wipe off the excess glue that I spilled. Anything that's on the inside, wipe it out. And that box will now fit perfectly, when it's the right, perfectly on here. Right, I've got one more box to make. Give me a minute, and I'll make the other one. And now, as quickly as that, with the power of editing on the Photoshop, we've now got our beehive made ready for bees. Just about. There's a couple of little modifications that I do. Well, one is I paint my hives inside and out. The reason for painting them inside is bees like to chew on polystyrene. That's their only, I guess, bit of a downfall. However, put a coat of paint on them and the bees leave them alone. I haven't had these long enough to know of the durability of them and how long they last. But polystyrene has been around in its various forms for a long time now. It lasts almost forever when it's used as insulation in a house and all sorts of other things. The insulation inside your refrigerator and such like. So I can't see any reason why this shouldn't last for 30, 40, 50 years. One thing we have found, that rats will eat it and will chew into it. However, we can fix that using a bit of Gorilla Glue. We can plaster over those things. Works quite well. Gorilla Glue will fix these hives up without any trouble. One last little modification that I make. It's designed to sit on the floor, on the ground, like this. However, I like to have a little bit more space. I like mine up off the ground like this. So, to that end, I use some great big screws. Some 100mm ones. And they'll go right down through the box into that wood. So I'm going to use these 100mm screws to put in here, and they will go down through here into the wood. I'll line the wood up with the front, Don't get too carried away. Same at the back. Okay, so that's how I put some extra base on it. Raises up a little bit, improves the ventilation underneath the hive, I think. And lastly, I use one of these little rollers to paint my hives. I can zoom around them pretty quick, and this little round bit will fit into here and paint in there. So I can paint the box like this, and it only takes a few minutes. So the last little thing that we need to show you how it fits is this little piece, which looks quite complicated, but you pick the box up, and this box is designed to sit on that edge, and this little groove fits in there. So it just sits in there like that, that seals on there like that, that's done. Queen excluder just sits on there like that, right on top of the frames. And when the next box goes on, that locks it into place and it can't move. So where to from here? Well, the reason I bought this kit is because we regularly get asked how to install a nuke into a hive, and then how do we get the bees to go from the first brood box, into the second brood box, and then how we put the honey box on and do that. So we're still early in the bee season, and I'm going to use this hive to do installing a nuke, and that'll be released next week. Then once that nuke has filled out the colony of this whole box, probably 8-9 frames, then I'm going to show how to put on the next box and how we encourage the bees to come up, how we use the queen excluder later, and how we get on to putting the honey box on. Eventually at the end of the season, taking the honey off, and also how we winter the hive down, getting it prepared for winter, and do our varroa treatments as well. So work in progress over about the next 5 months. We're going to do about another 4 or 5 programs with the Paradise box. Hopefully you're going to be able to see how I go with this hive, how I do things my way, and we'll see, and you can form your own opinion on what you think of this. I already have a Paradise box in use, hive in use. It is already, and we're early in the season. We haven't reached December here in New Zealand yet, and it's already 4 boxes high. None of my other standard wooden Langstroth boxes are that high and running at that level. So it's going to be interesting by the end of the season how that last season's Paradise box gets on. So that's it from Trevs Bees on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll see you around in the beehive.